Now I'm tangled up here.
Hi, everybody, from the Floyd E. Gritton Gymnasium here on the campus of Owen County High School in Owenton, Kentucky, where tonight the Owen County Lady Rebels get set to take on the St. Henry Crusaders. I'm Brian Blair, and joined once again by my main man, Braden Howard. Braden, second game of the year, Lady Rebels 0-1, coming off a tough defeat on Monday night to Anderson County. Played well after the first quarter, but the first quarter had some jitters. Game 2, a lot easier than Game 1, and I don't mean that opponent-wise. I just mean based on the fact that you already have those jitters out of you, and now you can just kind of focus on playing basketball.
Yeah, so, they came off. They always start out the year with a hard schedule. It's an Amy Wesselman forte, if you want to call it that. She schedules all these hard teams at the beginning of the year, but by the end of the year, by the time district tournament rolls around, it really pays off because they're beating these teams that they should be beating by 20, by 30, 40 even by the end of the year. So, the other night, Monday, they opened up against Anderson County. Not a very good night shooting. I wasn't here, so I wasn't able to see the game, so I'm not sure if that was due to defensive pressure or, like you said, just first game jitters. But shooting 31% from the field. They did have 70% percentage from the free throw line. Now, I didn't do my homework well enough, so I didn't see how many attempts they had. But still not a bad showing from the free throw line either. Junior Kylie Steffen was the leading scorer on the night with 13 points, 2 rebounds. Freshman Hannah Mason right behind her with 12 points and 1 rebound. And this is the shocking part, the shortest player on the team, Zoe Webster. She had 5 points. She's a good scorer, but she had the most rebounds for the Lady Rebels with 3. So it was pretty balanced all the way around. Pretty decently scoring game. But outside of that, there wasn't anything spectacular. Still losing 57-37.
Yeah, it's a tough contest, like you said. Coach Wesselman, even on Monday before the game, was like, oh my gosh, I scheduled Anderson County to open the year. But yeah, you're absolutely right when you said it. It really does help them later on down the season. You take a look at this team, and of course we weren't here Monday night able to do the game, but when you look at this Lady Rebels basketball team, they have some big shoes to fill. You lose Haley Logan, obviously Rachel Howard's not here anymore, Addie Bowling. A lot of really solid, very experienced players, and you have that on this team with Kylie Steffen, Zoe Webster, and we'll talk about that later a little bit, but there's still a lot of youth on this team now, and it's important for the Kayla Gibsons of the world and the Zoes and the Kylies really to step up and kind of take ownership of this team.
Yeah, so even looking back to last year, Kaylee got a lot of minutes. Even starting at some point, Kylie started. She's still young. She's still just a junior now. So, and then of course with Zoe missing basically the entire season after tearing her ACL. Mm-hmm. So, she's coming off of an injury. Probably didn't get to work as much as she wanted to over the summer on it. Still kind of weaning herself back in. But I'm looking to see her have a good season this year.
Yeah, I talked to her a little bit this summer, was around the school teaching, helping out with summer school and just different things. And, she worked really hard to get back from the ACL. And talked to her on last Friday a little bit and asked about, the season and being ready to play, not as much physically, but really emotionally and the thought process. And you'll notice she has the brace on her left knee. And she said, and Coach Wesselman even said, she's not quite 100% back. But seeing her out there after what we saw last year with the knee injury and just how disappointing that was for her, she's ready to go. And it's a lift to this team to have her out there and her leadership on the floor.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember last year, when it first happened, and then she missed the game, and then she was waiting on the results. It was
It was shocking.
It was not only shocking, but it kind of hurt the team's morale as well. But now seeing her out there shooting, you can just kind of see the boost in the mood for this team.
Yes, and we talk about the opponent just a little bit tonight. They're coming in, the St. Henry Crusaders. They are 0-2 on the season. They lost Wednesday night to Holy Cross out of Covington, 71-43. Holy Cross, a good basketball team, a chance potentially to compete for the 9th region title up there. St. Henry, of course, in the 9th region. And the first thing that jumps out with me when I look at St. Henry is their coach, Dan Train. He's a guy he's been around, and he has coached a lot of basketball. But this is his first stint coaching as a head coach of the girls team. He's been an assistant a couple of times, but he is really hoping that they can build off of a really solid JV squad last year, because a lot of their points are gone. A lot of the returners they have are gone. So he is hoping for some of that experience from last year to kind of turn over into this year. He hasn't seen that in the win column yet, but this is a game when you look back to last year, St. Henry won. So it's got to give them a little confidence to come in here tonight knowing that they beat this Owen County team last year.
Well, just going back and looking at the stats, too, of course, we didn't have any for their previous game against Covington. But they did have stats up against Grant County, where they actually took a loss, 71-43. But looking at the scoring column, it's kind of similar to Owen County as well. They've got a senior who's got some points up there, Corrine Blackburn. She was actually the leading scorer on the night, 14. And then the next is underclassmen. You got sophomore Josephine Powers with 10, and then freshman Audrey Pizanka with 10 as well. They also had a better shooting night than the Rebels against Grant County, though. They shot 50% from the field and 72% from the free throw line. So I think they're definitely similar teams. I think both teams, really either team could go out, and I think it could be a close game. It's just all going to depend on the strengths of both teams. Looking at it now, St. Henry looks a whole lot taller than Owen County, and Owen County's taller players are the ones bringing the ball up the court. So when you kind of get that, it should be interesting on the rebounds. I have to keep track of those tonight. But I think it's going to be a competitive game, especially because Owen County's sour off of this loss from last year. Again, early season game. They met last year on December 5th. It was at St. Henry. A very well defensive game.
Or bad shooting night, however you want to look at that.
Either way. But then you see something that's consistent across the board. Kylie Steffen, leading scorer for the Rebels, 10 points, 3 rebounds. And then senior last year, now alumni, Rachel Howard, had 9 points and 8 rebounds. So, like I said, it's going to be a competitive game. I think both teams are going to come out playing hard, very strong defensively. It's just going to come down to who plays harder and who makes the shots.
Yeah, for them last year, for St. Henry last year, Jane Nolman had 8 points, and she's the only really returner tonight that really saw significant action in that game. One thing that jumped out last year's game, the teams combined to shoot only 8 free throws in that whole game.
I actually saw that. I think Abigail Dempsey was the only one on the Rebels that
1
shot
for 2.
free throws.
Yeah, she was 1 for 2. Interesting, though, tonight, and you talk about one of their best players tonight, and she is, her name is Corrine Blackburn. She is actually, and I talked to her a little bit before the game, she is a senior, and this is her first time playing varsity basketball since her freshman year. She's a volleyball player, and she's tall, and she is an excellent volleyball player, led the team, but she had 225 kills on the year, 78 blocks. For a St. Henry team that went all the way to the 9th Region Championship game before losing to Notre Dame. But she had a broken hand for part of the volleyball season, and she said tonight it's fine, she's okay. But it's going to be interesting to watch how she, who hasn't played varsity basketball since her freshman year, how she kind of responds, a little bit to getting back into basketball shape. And we talk about that a lot with football players coming back, but you play volleyball, not that there's not a lot of energy exuded in that, but it is a different kind of game, obviously. But she's a very nice young lady and was excited to be playing basketball again. So when I mention her, it will be interesting because you already mentioned the size. Who guards her tonight? I mean, do you throw Kayla Gibson down there? Do you throw Chloe Dempsey? We'll go over the starters here in a little bit. What do you do down low if you're Coach Wesselman tonight against that size that you mentioned of St. Henry?
Yeah, and that is going to be the problem because there is more than one tall girl out there too.
Yeah.
So especially if you got 2 or 3 of those out on the court at the same time, it's going to be tough for the Lady Rebels to deal with that. Now that might warrant that Lady Rebels shoot a bunch from the outside too. But one thing we should note too is that we also have a new addition to the team as well.
We do, and I hadn't mentioned her yet.
A Grant County girl, Sophie Keitlinger. She's got some height as well, so that definitely helps the situation. But again, this is the second game of the year. We don't know.
Right.
We've not really seen enough basketball to make a determination yet. So.
Right. We're about 4 minutes away. Coming up during one of the timeouts tonight, I do have my question of the night for Mr. Braden Howard. He doesn't know what it is. I actually do have a question in my head, and I will give you a little hint. It involves Louisville basketball. So I know you'll be very excited about your question of the night. Talking a little bit about the upcoming schedule for you. And we should mention the Owen County Rebels off to a good start. They are 2-0. Got a win on the road or at home here against Western Hills on Tuesday, then went over to Williamstown and got a W against the Demons. Pretty convincing win. The Western Hills game, maybe a little closer than the final score would indicate, but Owen County did a great job in the fourth quarter, pulled away from that Western Hills team, who then I saw somebody, they went over and beat Lexington Christian, I think, the next night. So a good win for them. On Monday, so it is Friday the 13th, or not Friday the 13th, next week is Friday the 13th, but on Monday the girls will be here against North Oldham. Then on Wednesday night, an interesting game against Walton Verona. Always a good rivalry. And then the girls will be, and the boys both, will be over at Henry County on Friday night. The boys are going to be on the road a lot next week. They're going to be at Shelby County on Tuesday. The boys will then be at Henry on Friday and then be back here on Saturday night. So next Saturday night, Grant County. And that is always a fun game in this building, or that building for whatever's sake, next week. So again, if you're just tuning in, welcome into the Grit. If you have not been in here at all this year, encourage you to do so. And you may notice on your screen that you'll see there are new scoreboards here in the building. And so nice new scoreboards on both ends of the gym, and then also the addition of video boards. And that is a very cool addition as well. So if you have not had a chance to get out here to the arena, come on out and check out Rebels and Lady Rebels basketball as this season goes on. But it is corporate sponsor night. We'll try to hit up on a few of those. Hopefully we won't leave anybody out, but appreciate everybody who sponsors our broadcast and allows us to do this. And I have so much fun doing this.
Absolutely.
I love this. And we are about a minute or so away from action. We'll go ahead and get this out there as well. Coming up in January, the first week of January, the 6th through the 10th, 11th, the All-A Classic will be back in here. Owen County back in the A this year after a hiatus over to the 2A. And so I know there are preparations already being made for that, and it is going to be a fun, busy week.
We're going to be busy that week.
We're going to be busy that week, too, doing a lot. You're going to have to do a lot of homework that week.
All I'm thinking of is hospitality room. That's all.
Now, if my wife is listening, Braden said that because she always gets on me. She's like, you can't go to the hospitality room. I'm like, yes, I can.
No, absolutely. It's in Owen County. We're in the hospitality room.
Absolutely. And I have heard some of the things they are working on, and I am stoked, as the kids would say. So right now, we're going to have a special presentation, a big moment. Going to get a college signing tonight. Trying to get everybody in place. Zoe Webster at the table. As as they are about set to make the announcement.
Tonight, Zoe Webster will be signing her national letter of intent to play basketball at Midway University. Joining Zoe tonight are her parents, Jane and Michelle Webster, Midway University head coach Kylie Gordy, and assistant Jay Lucas, Lady Rebels head coach Amy Westman, assistant coaches Brian Duncan, Christina Perkins, Jared Perkins, Owen County High School Principal Betsy Webster, and athletic directors T.A. Westman and Megan Herndon. Zoe, if you're ready, let's make it official to become an Eagle.
So congratulations to Zoe Webster, who signs her national letter of intent to play basketball next year at Midway. And you talk about coming off the injury. That is cool to get to see her live out that dream. And that is a testament to how much hard work she put in to get herself back to this point. So congrats to Zoe, as she will be moving on.
One thing I have noticed while I was standing here, when was the last time you did not see Dave Stowe running the clock?
It's been a while. It has been a while.
Now, he's still in the building. He's just on the other end of the building in the middle of a play currently. But I don't think I've ever seen Dave Stowe not run the clock.
That is something to think about. I tell you what, we have some homework. I go to church with Dave, and I will have to ask him, when was the last game that he missed? We'll have to get that for you. Hopefully we'll be on the air Monday night when the girls are in here taking on, I believe I said North Oldham. Yes, I did. A rematch of the 8th Region tournament last year where the North Oldham got them. So we're going to take a break here. We're going to let you listen in to the national anthem. I did not catch her name, and I apologize, but a 7th grader from the Bowling Middle School playing it on the clarinet, I believe. That is tough.
Very.
We're going to run down the starting lineups because I don't know that you all can hear them through our mics. So we'll take a look at the starting lineups tonight. First of all, for St. Henry, they're going to have a couple of freshmen starting. Number 5, Gia Jones, and then another freshman, number 11, Audrey Pizanka. Number 15, a senior, Kiki Unkrat. Her sister, Kayla, played last year and graduated. Number 32, a sophomore, Joey Powers. And then number 44, a senior, Corrine Blackburn. For Owen County tonight, Chloe Dempsey gets the start. The freshman, wearing number 4. Also starting tonight, of course, the new Midway Eagle, number 11, Zoe Webster. Also starting tonight, a freshman, number 12, Hannah Mason. The senior, Kaylee Gibson. And the junior, Callie Steffen. And this is one of the new cool things here at Owen County. You can't see it, but a little hype video on the big board. Did this for the guys the other night. It's a new cool feature. Now, if they could just do fireworks like they do. Now, did they do that at the Yum Center?
Yeah, so they have these like big carts that they roll out.
Okay.
And I guess they kind of keep them at the top of the key, and it shoots these flames and sparks and all sorts of stuff.
Yes.
Fireworks would be cool, but I feel like there's a height constraint in here, so maybe we
maybe not.
We might have to stay away from those.
Maybe we could just let everybody light up their phones and just flash them or something. Yes.
We need some rally towels.
Yes.
But we need to talk to some of these sponsors and get some white rally towels in here.
Yes, do that. It could be the Rebel towel or something. We're about set to go. Of course, Amy Wesselman, the head coach. She is in her 9th season here as the head coach for the Lady Rebels, has been very successful, and I haven't said it yet, but I will right now. The Lady Rebels are on the hunt for the 10-peat.
10 in a row, yes. Very, very impressive.
They have won 9 straight 31st District titles, and we said this last year, and we'll get into it a little bit more when district play starts, but every one you win makes the next one harder. And we'll talk about that right now. The Lady Rebels hoping to just get win number 1. It is a cold Friday night, so add another log to the fire and get set for a little high school basketball here in Owenton. And we are underway, and the Crusaders have the basketball, and that is the person of Joey Powers. As Lady Rebels come out man-to-man. A little Bill Raftery impersonation. Look at Zoe. That is why they like having her on this team. Just the tenacity and the hustle. That is what they missed, and they did a nice job last year adjusting. It took a couple of games after the injury for them to kind of get right. But, man, you can tell that fire is there, and oh, my. Well, the tricky part to being that aggressive is not picking up the little ticky-tack fouls because you need her on the floor. Powers she did. That is, again, great defensive pressure.
Yeah, so with Zoe, even though she is very lacking in height, I'm not going to say short. I don't want to. But
Zoe Braden Howard said that, Zoe.
She's very aggressive, very quick, and she's able to sneak in and get some of those steals that other players might not be able to.
Pass deflected out of bounds by Pizanka, the freshman. As I said, a lot of youth out there for St. Henry, but I know one of the things Dan Trame said in an article I read this week about him and this team was that he was very excited because their JV squad was really good last year. Their varsity was 15-15 as Kayla Gibson has to go retrieve, and they're playing a zone defense that's aggressive, and we're going to get a foul. And I really thought that Uncrot had forced the tie-up.
Yeah, I'm not sure on that one.
But he's excited about what he has. He's very enthusiastic. He's won 300 games as a boys head coach in his career. 308 wins, 204 losses. There's a skip pass, nice catch, and then ball knocked away and stolen. So a couple of turnovers early by both teams. As looks like they're trying to feel each other out, and there's another one as it was trying to get it to Pizanka, pass a little bit behind her. Now, I mentioned Corrine Blackburn. You'll notice her, number 44 down there on the floor. She does have her hand wrapped, her right hand, and she broke it during the volleyball season this year on a block.
So, of course, they've got her playing as center. There's not going to be much action in that zone.
Well, you like to see the Lady Rebels start making some shots, and here's Blackburn on the post. She kicks it back out in a 3, up and in by Gia Jones. And that's the one thing, if you collapse too much, it's going to leave somebody open. Callie Steffen driving in, loses it. St. Henry comes away with it, and they're on the run. Here's another 3, same result. Gia Jones might want to guard her as Amy Wesselman calls a quick timeout, 6-0 St. Henry. So the shooting woes from last year so far not being seen by the Crusaders.
It's one thing to note, the Lady Rebels really have not gotten a shot off.
They
yet.
have not.
So we're 2 minutes into the game. There's been a lot of almost unforced turnovers really on the offensive end for the Lady Rebels. Now there's some just passing it right into St. Henry's hands. Not a good start so far.
No. Dan Trema mentioned he 308 wins in his career. He actually won a state or a ninth region title. Now this is when Simon Kenton was still in the ninth region, but he won a boys ninth region championship back in 1995. So no stranger to Northern Kentucky basketball. Also an assistant at that school up north in Walton. There's a drive cut off out to Webster. She fakes the 3. Lady Rebels seem a little confused by the zone right now. They're not sure exactly where to be. Zoe goes to the basket, puts up a shot, no good, and the rebound's controlled by the Crusaders, and they're on the run again. And that's a jump ball? Yes, it is. Nice defense by Callie Steffen.
And that should be Owen County's ball.
Lady Rebels just look a little tentative right now against this zone defense. It's a 1-3-1. You think they'd get some looks out of it. But St. Henry doing a pretty nice job of rotating. Mason drives in, loses it out of bounds, but she was fouled.
I think that's what it's going to take for the Lady Rebels to stay in this game. Yes, they are very, very much taller than the Lady Rebels' entire team. But if you keep driving in, you're going to draw fouls eventually. And maybe after that, there'll be some looks that open up from the outside.
Hannah Mason misses the first of 2 free throws. Hannah, just a freshman. A lot to like about some of these freshmen. Coach Wesselman excited about not only what she has, but what's to come. The 7th and 8th grade program over there pretty well at the middle school, so she's excited. And if you're an Owen County Lady Rebel fan, you should be excited about what's the next few years hold as well. But right now, things not looking so good. 6-0 St. Henry. Lady Rebels still in that man-to-man. Blackburn way out front with the basketball. Very patient St. Henry team right now. Drive cut off, knocked loose, ball on the floor. Now it's in the hands of Pazanka for 3, no good. And Zoe Webster comes in there and scrapes out the rebound. Steffen driving, scoring. Zoe Webster again in the mix. Blackburn trying to make a move, leaves that one short. Kayla Gibson tries for the rebound. Steffen did not get away with the foul. That was a slow whistle, but she definitely fouled. That was the first time in the first quarter that we've seen Blackburn do anything down low. But she missed the shot. Kayla Gibson had pretty good defense, and then Butt was able to get her own rebound. And that's the one thing when you're playing against a bigger, taller player is after that initial shot, you really have to get in there and box out and not give up the second opportunities that lead to fouls and free throws. 4:20 to go, first quarter, 8-2, the visitors. Little token pressure as Hannah Mason will bring the ball up. Works off the screen. Kicks it out to Gibson. Kayla Gibson lets loose a three, no good. Fought for. Dempsey can't come away with it, and here comes St. Henry again on the move. Blackburn throws it up, and that was a nice move. Good pass from Pizanka, and Blackburn kissed it off the window, 10-2. Zoe always dribbling with her head up. Finds Stefan, nothing there. She's trying to get into the lane. Does, shoots, no. Rebound Blackburn. A lot of contact down there. Letting them play though, and you and I have always said, as long as you're consistent. The drive, the shot, no good by Unkrot. Lady Rebels looking for a little positive momentum. Dempsey shooting, no. Ball loose and a foul. I think they're going to get Kayla Gibson on that one. Lots of substitutions right now for St. Henry. Lady Rebels just look a little tight tonight. You get that sense, just trying to find themselves early.
Well, I think that comes with the pressure that St. Henry's putting on them as well on the defensive end. You know, they're really trying to speed the ball game up a little bit, and it's working for them so far.
Sophie Keitlinger in for her first action tonight. Of course, came over from Grant County. And what's the
I
issue?
think the ref didn't know which way to do his hands, so they ended up calling the foul on Kylie Steffen, number 41, instead of number 14, Kaylee Gibson.
Thank you. And that's 2 on Steffen.
But it should be on Kaylee, I believe.
I thought it was too. I really thought she was the one who fouled, and that is unfortunate because now Steffen goes to the bench. Jasmine Tidd and Keitlinger into the game. Wow, nice play. Blackburn making her move, and Zoe came in and stole it away. And now Webster's on the move for Owen County. Gibson, 3, top of the circle, short, rebound Blackburn. And that time, did you notice how quickly Zoe Webster got back? She was not trying to crash the board. She was getting back defensively because St. Henry had been able to beat them back down the floor.
And that's good ball knowledge, too, because if you look at Zoe, she's probably not going to get rebounds in this ball game.
Couple of missed shots, rebound loose, and somehow St. Henry comes out of there. 3 on the way, no. Rebound Webster.
And I say that, and she gets the rebound.
There she does. St. Henry's size really an advantage right now. Tidd posted up, pass just a little bit out of reach. Good idea. Tidd had her defender posted up, and Keitlinger knocks it away, and it's in the hands of Owen County. Two minutes left in the quarter. We'll have our question of the night between quarters. Be ready. Gibson, 3, no. Long rebound, chased down, and then tried to throw it off the leg of Gibson, and it ends up in the hands of Hannah Mason. And the Rebels will reset it. This time, she is being harassed out there by Kennedy Sieg. Mason. This St. Henry defensive pressure is pretty good so far. It has really disrupted the flow of the Lady Rebel offense. And that is a foul.
No.
Oh, no, they call offensive?
No, they called over and back.
Okay.
Not sure about that call because I'm almost certain it was off of St. Henry, had a little hand off of it.
So a turnover by the Lady Rebels. And with 1:13 to go, St. Henry a chance to add to their 8-point advantage. She almost went over and back right there. Here's Sieg, a 3, no good. Saved in, but to St. Henry. 3-pointer in the corner, line drive, good by Jane Nolman. And that is the 3rd triple of the quarter already by St. Henry, and they lead at 13-2. 41 seconds to go. Keitlinger threw it away. Threw it right into the hands of St. Henry, number 34. She is going to be fouled. That was
Number 4, Chloe Dempsey.
Claire Slocum who stole it, and then Dempsey gets called for the foul. So, another turnover by Owen County. Gives Claire Slocum, a senior, a chance to extend the lead with 28 ticks to go. And it's 14-2. Substitutions for Owen County. Addison Kincaid into the game. Second free throw, good. So 15-2, 28 seconds to go here in the first quarter. Lady Rebels down. Mason being guarded tightly. Has it knocked away and stolen again. And St. Henry with 15 seconds. Are they going to hold for one? No. And Jasmine Tidd with the block. And I thought she was going to grab that to keep it from going out of bounds, but a nice defensive play as we're going to get a line change here for St. Henry with 9 seconds to go. 5 in, 5 out. And you know, it's interesting when the 5 starters came off, they really didn't lose much. The second 5 played very well. 9 seconds. Inbound shot no good by Blackburn, and Owen County the rebound. 4 seconds. Mason looks at the clock, sees it, stops, shoots, no, and that's how the first quarter will come to an end. So all St. Henry in the first quarter as they lead the Lady Rebels at the end of 8, 15-2. Thanks again for joining us tonight. I'm Brian Blair, Braden Howard alongside, and it is time so being honored for all district tournament team for the softball team. All right, so we're going to do our question of the night for you. Are you ready?
Oh, boy.
All right, here we go. So it involves Louisville basketball. All right. So this weekend is a big, big weekend for Louisville hoops. All right, the Louisville men Sunday afternoon will host the number 9 Duke Blue Devils. And tomorrow night in Brooklyn, the number 22 U of L Lady Cards will take on number 2 UConn. Who has the better chance of winning this week? The men against Duke or the women against UConn?
What's UConn ranked this year?
They're ranked number 2, and they have an outstanding player in Paige Beckers. Or Bucher. I'm not real sure how to say it.
I think it's Beckers.
I think it is too. So the lady, so you can mull it over.
That's not an easy question, regardless.
And you can think about it. You don't have to answer right now. St. Henry back with the basketball in a 13-point lead here in the second quarter. Three-pointer airborne, no good. Rebound, it could have been an over-the-back call, but it's not as the rebound comes down to Kayla Gibson. That was Gia Jones trying to make another 3. She has 2 already on the night. That one no good. Mason to Webster. Webster dribbles it back up top, now spins and comes the other way before stopping. Being guarded out there by Joey Powers. Hannah Mason gets in the lane and has it stripped out of bounds off of her leg, and it will go to St. Henry. Nice defensive play by Pizanka to reach in there and knock it off the leg of Hannah Mason and out of bounds. So Lady Rebels still looking for another basket. They have only scored 1 on the night. That was Kylie Steffen. Here's a 3 up and in. That is Jones, and she is having herself a night. 9 points, and it's 18-2. Webster directing traffic. Mason works off a screen. Nice pick and roll to
play.
Gibson, and she missed it. Rebound, St. Henry. You're absolutely right. That was a good-looking offensive set. Just could not convert. Here's a three. Other end. Jones, no. Out of bounds, and it stays with St. Henry. Blackburn will come back in. The Louisville men playing well.
Yeah, they're really hurting. They've got two good players out for the rest of the year. Another one out for a good.
She walked.
At least one more. She might have walked twice.
I think it's Blackburn, but nevertheless, Lady Rebels come out with the basketball, and Mason has it up top to Gibson. Lady Rebels need a little spark right here. Need a basket. Down low. Dempsey loses the handle, but Gibson gets it back. Kylie Steffen, here's a three. That one's good, and that's what they needed big time right there was Kylie Steffen in the triple, and it's 18-5, and we'll see if that gets Owen County going. Blackburn top of the key. I don't think she's a threat to shoot it out there. Here's a pass. Oh, a push-off. Gets away with it. No good. Rebound, Owen County. That was Unkrot, who might have gotten away with a little shove. Now Webster drives in, puts up a shot. No good. Big rebound by Blackburn. She snagged that thing with one hand. Three on the wing. Good. And St. Henry will get a chance for a 4-point play, as the three by Pazanka is good, and she is fouled.
Got a chance for a 4-point play here. Not seen one of those in high school in a long time.
That is the fifth. That is the fifth three-pointer already for St. Henry in this game. Oh, I'm good. I got my Gator. I got my Powerade. Maybe at halftime I'll come get some punch and. I never turn down punch and cupcakes.
Punch and cupcakes.
Yes.
We get the hospitality room early this.
Free throw good, and a pass out of bounds. Another turnover. So it is. When it's not going good, it's not going good. As the Lady Rebels have really struggled tonight to find their footing offensively, and it shows with 5 minutes to go in the quarter. It is 22-5. Defensively. Oh, there's a foul. Zoe Webster's been playing defense.
She's got 4 or 5 steals this evening already, and it's just for really 5 minutes from the second half.
Let's see who they got for the foul. Number 32, Joey Powers. That is her second. So it's nice this year on the scoreboard to have the team fouls and the number of timeouts left. It is a very nice new scoreboard.
I'm just glad to see the scoreboard working.
Yes, as Owen County turns it over again. Sieg with the basketball. She's a freshman being guarded by the senior Webster, and Webster just pickpocketed her. She's like she was on Times Square in New York, and she just took the purse away. And then a foul on the other end. On this end, I should say, is Jane Nolman gets called for the misdemeanor. (22-5), 4:40 left in the first half. Got our tech guru, Britton Stafford, up here working on things for us. We know it's been a little fuzzy on the picture tonight, as there's a basket up and in, and I was looking at Britton. Who scored that?
I was looking at Brennan too.
I apologize, folks. But I do apologize a little bit for the picture being a little fuzzy tonight. We're going to try to work things out. It's our first one as Steffen knocks it into the backcourt. 22-7. Down low to Blackburn. Gibson on her. And a travel. I'll tell you what, Kayla Gibson's done a decent job down there tonight against Blackburn. Going to get a couple of substitutions. Only senior out there for the Lady Rebels right now is Kayla Gibson. As here's a drive and a ball taken away, and then a jump ball as Hannah Mason got it stripped away there by Jones and then tried to reach back in and take it back away. Forced a tie up. It stays here with Owen County having it. Inbound. Dempsey trying to work her way up and in. Good, nice move. And that's what they know she can do. She just has to get the experience of doing it in the varsity, on the varsity level. Pass down low, shot up, air ball from 5 feet right there, and that is no good by Slocum. She totally short-armed that. I think she thought somebody was coming, but they didn't. 22-9, there's a foul. Let's see who they got. They got Gia Jones. And that is her first. You know, if you're Owen County, as you always say, you'd like to get this down to the single digits by halftime. You'd like to get it back to within 6 or 8 potentially and give yourself a little momentum coming out. Still 3.5 to go in this half, though. Gibson to Kincaid. Kincaid working a little scoop shot with the left hand, and that is good. She's another one who, if you look at this team, she could give you some good minutes down there. There's a tough shot off the window and in. That is Claire Slocum. That was not an easy play, and it's 24-11. Gibson got to take that from 3, no good, and the rebound's controlled by St. Henry. She's had a couple of good looks tonight, just hasn't been able to make them. Somebody forgot about Slocum, and she makes that one. 26-11, 2:44 to go. Mason down low to Gibson, and reaching it is Slocum to cause the jump, and it will go to St. Henry. You know, the one thing that St. Henry has done really well, and I haven't watched their other games this year, but they are getting it done defensively tonight. Their offense has been pretty good. I mean, they made the 3, but they're able to get all those extra possessions by causing the turnovers and then making sweet dishes like that to Claire Slocum.
One thing for St. Henry on the offensive end, too, is their offensive rebounds. They've got way more than they should have. Owen County, of course, is not really boxing out very well on that end, and they're getting a lot of second chance points.
Kayla Gibson off to her nice feed, lays one in, and there's a shot off the window that Jones puts in. That's her first non-three-pointer of the night, and it's 30-13. Webster down low to Gibson. She'll take the little baseline jumper, knock it in. Kayla Gibson back-to-back buckets. Oh, another nice pass, and Slocum has 8 points all of a sudden. She's made the last 4 St. Henry baskets. And she's just finding little creases here and there in the defense. And St. Henry's passing the last 4 possessions has been outstanding. And you wonder if that's just a little bit of a lack of experience down low with some of these new players, some of these freshmen. Mason, pass knocked away out of bounds, and it's off the hands of Kincaid out of bounds to St. Henry. So another Owen County unforced error. 32-15. There's a nice defensive play by Keitlinger. McElhaney, Olivia McElhaney was trying to get to the rim, and Keitlinger blocked her shot. And it will go actually off of McElhaney out of bounds to the Lady Rebels. We're going to get a substitution. Pizanka checks back in. Now, your chances of getting under 10 before halftime are not good, so at this point, you just want any kind of positive momentum. .47 seconds. Webster, that is deep. And that is no good. Kincaid gets a nice rebound and then gets it stripped away. Now it's stripped away from St. Henry. It's on the floor, and we got a timeout. And look at Dan Trame out there firing up his team. It is all St. Henry right now. So have you decided, men or women, as far as the big win?
Part of me wants to say women, but part of me wants to say men too. I've seen the women beat UConn. It was the most, it was the highest attendance for women's basketball in Louisville that year. I believe it was 2018 or 2019. I was there. Jeff Walls, of course, still the coach, was able to beat UConn in the Center. Pretty amazing win that night. Probably one of the best of his career, actually. This year it's at UConn, and they're the number 2 team. You know, Paige Beckers is back. I'm thinking they're going to go up there and lose.
Okay, so you're going with the men over the Dukies?
I think men have a better chance just because, you know, Cooper Flagg is only 17 years old. He's good, but he's 17 years old.
And that game's in the Yum Center.
The game's in the Yum Center.
Oh, nice pass.
Now, Louisville's had some setbacks too, but there's some freshmen that I'm expecting to step up and make some big plays. And even some of the other players who, I don't want to say disappointing, they just not performed to their abilities. So I'm thinking everything's going to finally click, and they'll be able to get another upset win on the year. And hopefully their first big win in the Yum Center under the Pat Kelsey era.
Oh, nice inbound play. Shot no good. And the ball, we got a travel. Oh, no. Thought he was going to get Dempsey for the travel, but instead he gets a jump ball. So with 9 seconds to go, Lady Rebels have it inbound. Hannah Mason, 3. No good. Rebound. St. Henry, will they get a shot off? The pass was knocked away. Will Owen County get a shot? 3 at the buzzer will not. I don't know if it would have counted, but it's no good anyway. And that gets us to halftime with the score. St. Henry 34, Owen County 15. Well, I will say this about your prediction. As a Kentucky fan, I root for pretty much anybody against Duke. And so I will say this is hard for me to say that go Cards tomorrow in that game. Of course, Kentucky on the road tomorrow night. You got to take a nap if you want to watch that game. It doesn't start till 10 o'clock tomorrow night. They're out at
Gonzaga.
It's playing Gonzaga. Now, is that on a neutral floor or is that at the Dog Pound? Don't they call it the Dog Pound there at Gonzaga?
I'm not sure what they call it, but I think it's at Gonzaga. I don't think it's
not a neutral court?
I don't think so.
Because last year, you may remember the Zags came into Rupp Arena and kind of took it to the Wildcats. And a precursor of how the rest of the season was going to go a little bit. Always a fun night here at halftime. I'll get the totals added up for you and get some point totals to you. But it's always fun when the little dribblers are out there, and we're about to see them. You're about to see them.
Well, you got to think, too, so a lot of these girls that are playing varsity right now were at that age when the Lady Rebels started their district conquest, I guess, domination, whatever you want to call it. Going for their 10th one this year. 10 years ago was 2015. And to put that in perspective, I was a 7th grader in 2015. So we're going way back.
I was in my 40s in 2015. Those were the good old days. as they're getting ready, we'll take a look at some other action going on around the district tonight. If I can find my sheet here. I have all this paperwork that I have, and I got it. So girls action tonight as the Little Dribblers take the floor. I'll go over some of this. Carroll County girls in action. They are hosting Kentucky Country Day. They're 1-0 on the season. Last night, 31st District play, Valley beat Henry County 63-26. The Lady Cats 0-1. Eminence got a win last night. They're 2-0. Was they beat Frances Parker. I hope she had other people with her because that would be bad. It'd be 5-on-1. Don't know who Frances is, but anyway, 67-35, Eminence 2-0. And then Trimble County took on Louisville Holy Cross. The Lady Raiders 1-1, and they won that game 47-35. And then tomorrow night, Gallatin County, they are 1-0. They travel up north to take on Newport. Boys action. Last night, a couple of teams in action. Henry County knocked off Kentucky Country Day. They are 2-0. They beat Kentucky Country Day 66-56. Frances Parker, now on the flip side, Frances Parker beat Eminence Boys 57-47. The Warriors 0-2. And Trimble County took it on the chin last night against Ludlow as the Panthers won that game 97-49. Trimble County now 0-2. On the season. Boys action tonight, I believe, is Carroll is at Augusta. The Panthers are 0-1, and Gallatin County is taking on Holmes in Warsaw. The Wildcats 1-0. If you have never had a chance to go to Augusta and watch a basketball game, that gym is really cool. It's about 100 years old, and that is not an exaggeration. And when you walk into Augusta, you feel like you're stepping into the early 1920s, 30s. I mean, it's a little – you ever been in there?
No, I'm not.
It has like 3 rows of bleachers on each side and then a balcony that if you're on the floor, it almost looks like it hangs over the court. It doesn't. But my son, when my son Spencer played basketball at Heritage Academy, they played in there one night, and he said during warm-ups, because he didn't get in a lot, he said that it was weird because when you were in the corners, it felt like that you were, that you were having to adjust your shot. You weren't, but it felt that way. But it's a cool place if you ever get a chance to head down to Augusta, go to the Beehive Tavern down there.
Might have to take a field trip up there this year.
It's a cool place to watch. Owen County will play Augusta later this month. The boys will, but they'll play them at another place I've never been to, believe it or not, at the Mason County Field House. They will play Augusta in a little Christmas, it's not a tournament, it's just a round-robin kind of thing, and they will play them I believe December 27th at 11 or so in the morning. Check your schedule. We'll get back with you on that. But I am planning on going to the Mason County Fieldhouse. It is hosted if Henry County hosts the 8th region forever, Mason County has hosted the 10th region for a long time. So I'm not sure how long, but I've never been to the Fieldhouse there in Maysville. Kind of excited.
Looking into the state tournament, Sayre went 15-0 on the year, ended up getting their first state title. Today winning 27-22. Beechwood picks up yet another state championship. 18. They beat Owensboro Catholic 50-34, and I was told it wasn't that close. The big game is tonight, Franklin County versus Paducah Tillman. Franklin County's looking to get their first, I believe. They were close a couple years ago, making it to the championship game. Can't remember exactly who they played, but Franklin County's kind of built a dynasty in their football program as well. Well, they last week beat Covington Catholic in the semifinals, and if I'm correct on this, they had 3 different times in that game where they stopped Covcath on 4th down inside the 10-yard line. Yeah, that's very big. You notice that a lot in high school teams going for it on 4th down, which is understandable, because it's still high school. But especially once you get into the semifinals of the state tournament, you think you might want to play it safe, punt the ball. Well, I think a lot of it is, and
I think that I think a lot of it is in high school, and you would think at a team like Covcath or Franklin County both, you just don't. There's not a lot of great high school kickers, and I don't know if maybe that was played a factor in deciding on those possessions, but. You're right. You would think take the points, but if you don't have a kid who can consistently make them, I don't know.
It definitely makes sense both ways.
Taking a look at the scoring in the first half. First of all, for Owen County, they were led by Kylie Steffen, who had 5 points on the night. Kayla Gibson has 4, and then Chloe Dempsey with 2, and Addison Kincaid with 2 as well. And then somebody else has 2, and I'm not sure because I wasn't paying attention. So I am missing 2 points, and we'll try to figure that out for you as the evening goes on. For St. Henry so far tonight, their leading scorer is Gia Jones, 11 points, including 3 3-pointers. Claire Slocum has come off the bench to score 10 points, all of them coming in the second quarter. And then we have Corrine Blackburn with 4, Audrey Pizanka with 4, Jane Nolman with 3, and Anna Bain with 2. St. Henry, though, on the night, and maybe the difference in this game is they have made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 3-point shots, and it's really been a case of they were beating the Lady Rebels down the floor early in the first quarter, and were finding people on the kickouts, especially Jones, who has 3 of those. But it has really been a struggle tonight for Owen County to get things going on the offensive end, but give a lot of credit to St. Henry on the defensive end.
Yeah, that's definitely been a big factor in the game. St. Henry is definitely longer and taller than the Lady Rebels, and it seems like they've been playing a whole lot more players off the bench too. But when you get Owen County trying to drive in, they can't really go anywhere because they've got these 5'8", 5'10" players down there and around the block, and they just can't get into it, which, it can't really help that, but eventually they're going to have to start looking to find the three-point line. But even then, where they're playing this 1-3-1 zone, it's very hard to get those open shots, too.
And they've had a couple of good looks. Kayla Gibson's had 3 really good looks at the top of the circle and just hasn't been able to get them to go down tonight. Kylie Steffen has the only 3-pointer of the game so far for Owen County. So 34-15. As I mentioned already, we talked about Louisville's women. UK's women were on the road last night at North Carolina. UK ranked 14th, Carolina 16th, and it was all Tar Heels as the North Carolina Tar Heels whooped up on the number 14th ranked UK Lady Cats 72-53. I mentioned Kentucky at Gonzaga tomorrow night, and then also tomorrow one other team of note, because I went to school there and I want to talk about them. NKU takes on IU Indianapolis. It is no longer Ooey Pooey. It used to be Indiana University, Purdue University, Indianapolis, IUPUI, otherwise known as Ooey Pooey. And one of my claims to fame in life is that when I was doing an intern at Channel 9 in Cincinnati, I was able to get one of these sports guys, John Popovich, a legendary sports guy on Channel 9, to actually say Ooey Pooey on the air. Xavier played an exhibition game while I was there, and I said something about Ooey Pooey, and John Popovich, Popo as people called him at the station, said, "What?" And I said, "Yeah, it's Ooey Pooey." And so that night on the Channel 9 News at 11, John Popovich said, Xavier University takes on Ooey Pooey tonight at the Cincinnati Gardens. And I was so excited. I felt like I had had a major impact on Cincinnati news that night. But they are now just IU. Purdue has pulled out of that partnership for whatever reason, but NKU off to a tough start. They are not playing well so far this season. Both teams back out on the floor. I should say only one team back out on the floor. St. Henry. We're about a minute or so away. Coach Wesselman, a little long-winded in there, and you can't blame her. It took the Lady Rebels' time last year after the Zoe Webster injury, you take players, and we've already talked about this, but you take your sister, you take Rachel out, you take Haley out. Those are two big cogs on this team. And they do have to find out a little bit who they are. Yes, you have experience coming back, but you also have some newer players on this team who don't have a ton of varsity experience. And so, you're here in game 2, and it's not looking great right now, but this team's still really trying to find itself.
Well, and again, it goes back to the strength of schedule. What Anderson County, arguably the number 1 team in the region, has been for years. And then you go up to these Northern Kentucky schools like St. Henry, and they'll be – I'm sure this won't be their only hard game before Christmas.
They're going to play Highlands at Highlands later on.
Even North Oldham next week.
Yeah,
that's
Walton.
How many more we got?
Yeah.
They got UConn next week too? Let's see, who else is on the schedule?
No, you're right, and that's the thing. You're absolutely right, and so I think people could look at this and go, "Oh my gosh, are they not very good?"
But then by the time district rolls
Yeah.
around, and it's
Yeah.
not even the district tournament, but district play, they play teams more on their size, and I don't want to say skill level, but it's about the same caliber teams.
We are back. Lady Rebels just walked out of the locker room and onto the floor, and we're going to get a foul.
No, dead ball hit the.
Oh, it hit. Okay, I see it. I see it
Hit
moving
the
now.
cables.
It hit the cables supporting the basket. So a break for the Lady Rebels early. Nice look. Dempsey puts up a shot, and she is fouled. Or did she? She is fouled by Blackburn. But you talk about it. You talk about this team a little bit. You've got Hannah Mason out there, Chloe Dempsey, some players who really don't have a ton of varsity experience, and that's you put Chloe Dempsey in there having to replace the likes of your sister and Haley Logan on the paint. Those are big shoes to fill,
and especially as a freshman too.
Yeah.
So one thing that was kind of different about the last year's teams, like my sister and Haley and Addie, they got to play with the Lexi Moores and Destiny Goodridge and Laurel, and those teams that won state championships. So nothing against my sister or Haley or Addie in that team, but there's a little difference in the caliber of players as far as who they grew up playing with.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, last year's team was still really good and was able to win, and I'm sure they learned some things from them, but it seemed like my sisters and the people older than them, like Lexi and those teams, they played with them longer.
Yeah. Another three-pointer by St. Henry, and it's 37-16. There's a nice pass. And a shot blocked and then saved in to Mason. She has it stripped. A jump ball will be called. And again, that's just size. Dempsey thought she had a turnaround, and Blackburn said, no, you don't, with that big broken paw. Knock that one away.
She doesn't have pine tar on that or anything.
No. Ball loose on the floor after a deflection, and it will be a jump ball, and it will be St. Henry basketball.
That's a quick call, I think, because the ball was rolling on the floor when he called that.
Now, a little something different, new scorers table here tonight as well, but there's not an arrow on the scorers table. Am I missing something, or is it just on the scoreboard? On the scoreboard, it certainly says possession arrow favors Owen County. I don't see it on the scores table.
I do not see it on the scores table either,
Okay.
which I noticed that earlier.
Owen County trying to get something going. 6:25 to go in the third. Steffen thought about it. Webster back to Steffen. Mason down low, Dempsey. Oh, nice pass Thought she could have taken the free throw line jumper, Mason, but instead drove. I think that's one. She'll learn to take that free throw line jumper, I think. So, interesting fact about the two, Stephen and Dempsey. The two of them came into this season trying to get to 1,000. As Mason has a foul called on Blackburn. Kylie Steffen came into the year with 649 points. Zoe Webster, 636. So I have tried to stir the pot a little bit and to get them to figure out, all in friendliness, okay, to get them to see who could get there first. And Kylie said to me about a week or two ago, they're hoping they could do it on the same night.
Somebody's still going to do it first, though.
Well, true.
They can't make their 1,000th point at the same time unless they have a technical free throw or something. But then even then, somebody's going to make it first. It probably wouldn't be legal anyway.
Gailey Gibson with a nice block as the Lady Rebels trying to get a spark. Callie says there's and I've put a bug in Zoe's ear too, like individually. Nice pass by Steffen, and there's a good-looking play. And that's what the Lady Rebels are going to need more of as Dempsey gets a bucket, 37-18. I mean, I've tried to be like, hey, girls, and talk to them not together, right? Like, hey, you have you talked any trash about getting there first? What about you? And they're being friends about it. But I wonder if deep down, because they're both competitive, if they've thought about it. Blackburn, pretty good help defense there by Mason. Three on the way, no good. Rebound out of bounds. That should be, I thought that was Owen County ball. I thought that was knocked out of bounds by St. Henry, but that official, to his credit, was standing a lot closer to it than I am.
I think they need to come to some of my golf matches that we have, me and my buddies. You get me and Jordan Prather and Chad McDonald out there on the golf course. You'd think we'd hate each other.
That was on Kaylee Gibson. It's going to send Pizanka to the line for a couple. So a little friendly chatter, is that what you guys have out there?
Yeah, you could call it friendly.
Would Jordan call it friendly?
At the bin. But see, that's the funny thing. He's the person you would least expect it from. And then at the craziest time ever, he'll say something and it'll just...
I have a friend like that who doesn't say much, but when he does, you should listen. A little more pressure by St. Henry, and there's a foul. I think they're going to get Jones on that one. I like Dan Trame. No more fouls. No more fouls. But, Coach, you're pressing. That is the fourth team foul. Of course, the rule, if you weren't with us last year or you've just come to from a long winter's nap, the new rule, of course, every quarter resets, and so when you get to 5, the other team shoots 2. Webster drives in, throws it up, no good, but a foul. And that is something that's good to see her do, that she has the confidence enough in that leg and that need to go to her left and draw contact.
Especially against these bigger teams, too. There's not really teams in our district, I don't think there is, that are as tall as this team is today. So even going up against these stronger players, being able to see her do that gives me hope, and I'm sure it's a good confidence booster for her as well.
I would think that every time you do it, you get more and more confidence. Yeah, you talk about the district, I think, in talking to Brian Gagne, one of the assistant coaches, here's a drive and a basket. That's Pizanka. I think he really feels like the team to look out for might be Trimble on the girls' side. That was Kaylee Gibson who laid that in. Remember last year, they were the ones who gave Owen County a lot of trouble in the district finals.
But see, they graduated a lot of players too, if I'm not mistaken.
There's another 3. That was Jones again. 44-22. Just in looking over the rosters and people who they lost, there's a deflection right into the hands of Dempsey, and she can't make it. They were the team that had enough coming back that seemed like they would be the one to have to contend with the most. I mean, obviously Gallatin's always good, competitive, but they lost some key members of that team as well. 3:25 to go. Third quarter. Mason drives and draws the foul as she's going to go to the line. It's an aggressive move by her going baseline. First foul on Slocum. Free throw no good. As we said, Lady Rebels back in here on Monday, taking on North Oldham, then in here on Wednesday, taking on Walton, and then they'll hit the road Friday night for a boy-girl doubleheader at Henry as they'll open up district play. Oh, no, she's going to take another one off the front of the rim. She thought about it quite a while, was Elise Armbruster, as Webster goes all the way in, misses, rebound, Mason, no good. Look at that defense. It might be 44-22, but don't tell Zoe Webster. She is playing hard. And that is one of those things that you'd like to think that some of your younger players see and go, you know what? If she's going to play that hard, and it's awesome to see a senior out here playing that hard, because you talk about it, that has to wear off on the younger ones. Oh, I thought she was going to take it. Maybe she should have. Stefan drives up and in. That's a couple times tonight she's able to been able to get to her right hand and bank it in off the window. She has 7 and a foul on this end. Now, when I say this end, as you're watching, we sit right above the St. Henry basket. So foul was on Keitlinger, her first. Nolman at the line. Short. Keitlinger will let it go, and that's no good. And that's one of the things they like about her game, that she can shoot it a little bit. Oh, here's another three. That is good by Pizonka. And I tell you what, I don't know if they can shoot like this all year, but if St. Henry plays defense like they have tonight and knocks down the three, they're going to win some games this year. I mean, they are playing hard defensively, and they are shooting it really, really well.
And it's not like the shots that they've taken have been bad shots either.
No.
They've all come off a pass or been in transition.
Yep. And that's a case where if you're playing against this team, defensively, you're going to have to get back in a hurry, because they have shown the ability tonight to beat Owen County down the floor in transition, as you said, and get the easy kick out for the open three. And Owen County really hasn't been able to do that. And again, the defensive pressure that St. Henry has put on them tonight has really stifled them, as it's 48-24. On the boys' side, we'll talk about districts for just a second. I think most people would agree that it's going to come down between Owen County and Gallatin. The Wildcats are going to be pretty good. This Rebel team so far has been pretty good as well. Not to discount the other teams in the district. You're going to have to play well. But I think, and I've talked to Coach a little bit about this, I co-teach with Chad McDonald, the 8th Region JV Coach of the Year, however many years running. And they're 1-1, by the way. But
is that a self-proclaimed title there?
you know, Chad. I mean, if he says he's the 8th Region JV Coach of the Year, then he is. But we talked a little bit about it, and he would agree. I think that Gallatin's the team to beat. Carroll's going to be way down this year. Trimble's going to be down. I mean, it's Owen and Gallatin. One of those two teams is going to win the district.
Well, they're always well coached. I mean, you've seen Gallatin County teams come out and really surprise you. Teams you would think would not be very talented at all go out and just play some really good basketball.
Mason, nice fake, up and under, no good. Rebound, jump ball. Oh, no, a travel. That was a good move by Hannah Mason, just could not pay it off. Minute 45. Here's another three, no good. That one went about halfway down and came back out, and here come the Lady Rebels. See if they can beat Blackburn back down the floor. Tid, 19-footer, no. Rebound, Callie Steffen. I think Jasmine Tidd's another player that's going to need to kind of step up her game a little bit, that's going to need to do a few more things. She showed last year that she has the ability to score, just doing it consistently, and I think the defensive end is going to help her get on the floor a little bit more. We're going to get a timeout, but she's worked really hard over the summer, played some AAU ball, and she's going to be one, I think, to keep an eye on as the year goes. 48-24, a minute and 1 left in the third. Lady Rebels in a big hole. What do you tell your team? You're down. You're being doubled up on right now. What do you say in these timeouts? I mean, you're just hoping for positives? Are you trying to get it to a certain score? I mean, what is Coach Wesselman saying in these timeouts?
I think you got to make sure they don't give up.
Uh-huh.
Now, I mean, yeah, they're down 24. Don't make it 34.
Mm-hmm.
And then don't let the 34 become 44.
Absolutely.
Now, that's a little extreme, but they can't give up. They got to keep playing hard, and they got to keep going at it. They're not going to win this game. I think it's pretty clear to see. But just keep working on it. There's still some things you can work on in this game. Finding the open man, being aggressive on the boards especially, and just try to make some plays. And then, of course, you can learn from it after the game.
Yeah, absolutely. You are building for the next game and the next game. If you're St. Henry, I mean, don't let up. Obviously, Dan Tram saying, hey, don't let them back in the game. This is our game. Don't give them any hope of coming back. And so far, St. Henry's done that. Gibson looking for somebody to throw it to. Now finds Mason. Tidd'll shoot that. She can make it. That's way too long. Rebound, Blackburn. Blackburn hasn't done a lot tonight. And, she hasn't played since her freshman year. But seen some glimpses out of her that she's going to continue to develop as this year goes on. And she's a nice addition to this young team.
Yeah, we got to give a lot of credit to Kaylee Gibson for that as well. She's in there playing hard. She's not been able to stop everything, but she's definitely been a factor in the defensive part of it. But then again, St. Henry is also just lightening up from the outside.
Yeah.
So, in a sense, they got to keep that heat check going.
Yeah, she really hasn't. Blackburn really hasn't had to do much down low because when she's kicked it out, her teammates have made the threes. This is where she's caused trouble for Owen County, is getting into the paint and getting anything open. Her presence in there with 0.2 seconds left on the clock has been a big factor in this game in the paint defensively. You can tell the Owen County players know where she is at all times. Maybe pay a little bit too much attention in some ways. All they can do is tip it in, and that will end the quarter. So 3 quarters in the book, 50-24. St. Henry on top of Owen County. A lot of college football this weekend as well. Conference championships, and then on Sunday, the big reveal. The first 12-team college football playoff. You excited?
Yeah. I'm already disappointed, though. 3 lost teams getting in. We kind of talked about it the other night at the boys' game. I need to look into how they do it more, but I still know it's wrong how they do it.
Are you talking about that one team that wears crimson?
Yeah, that one team.
That one team.
And then also saw something.
Near Sweet Home Alabama. Yeah. I was trying, it didn't work. It didn't come out the way I meant for it to.
I saw something else. I mean, not that it matters a whole bunch because Michigan's not going to be in it this year. But somebody on Michigan's athletic department or football staff is on the selection committee. How is that allowed?
I did not know that.
Now, they beat Ohio State, which Ohio State's still probably going to make it. But,
Ryan Day still dreams in maize and blue.
How are they
maize and gold?
How are they not going to kind of rig it towards Ohio State or against Ohio State either? It's I don't know. It's all crazy. I think SMU's a lock in it as far as ACC goes. I don't think they should play the championship game because they say the championship games don't matter, so they should opt out of it.
Well, I heard it
to avoid getting beat, just because then the championship game will matter.
Hey,
and then they'll put Clemson in it.
There's a 3-point basket by Hannah Mason. I heard someone talking about that the other day, and this person said that the championship games were in there a few years ago because they were money grabs for these conferences. Mm-hmm. Now it's almost to a disadvantage, as you said, for some of these teams to play them.
But then again, I could also make the argument that SMU and Clemson both deserve to be in it.
Yeah.
Clemson's only 2 losses were to an 8-4 Louisville. I mean, Louisville went down there and did whatever they felt like doing down there, and then the other one was to a 9-3 Syracuse at Syracuse by 1 possession.
Who just beat Miami.
Yeah. So I mean, none of it makes sense. And as far as the Heisman goes, too, we know who's going to get it. We know who deserves it, but we know who's going to get it just because they play for a certain team.
Hannah Mason with another move and a bucket.
Where he's not even the best offensive player on that team.
And a travel. So Owen County, Hannah Mason playing well. She has all 5 points here in the 4th quarter for Owen County. It's fun, and it's just fun conversation. Because
nobody's right. There is no right answer.
That's exactly what I was going to say. You could argue, as they say, till the cows come home, but the only people that matter are those people in the room on Sunday.
I think the funniest thing about it is Lane Kiffin trying to make the argument that Ole Miss deserves to be in it. When out of the SEC teams that could be in it, he is definitely not one of them. And UK beating Ole Miss ruined their season.
I was going to say you can't lose the UK at home and get into the college football playoff.
No, there's just no way. But then when he's making these arguments on Twitter and posting games from 3 years ago, a Louisville win, a win against Louisville being one of them from 2021. Saying to spot the ball anywhere. That's not what that means. You can't go back 3 years and look at the record. You're a completely different team.
Got another foul. This one going to be on Gia Jones, her second. And now, again, another one of those line changes for St. Henry. We're talking college football, which is fun, while the Lady Rebels are trying. There's a high school basketball game going on, and there's another turnover.
I wanted the Pop-Tart Bowl so bad, but Louisville's not going to get it.
Going to get a foul here on the baseline, and that's going to go against Dempsey on the reach.
And it's so hard explaining to people who don't know what the Pop-Tart Bowl is why I want the Pop-Tart Bowl so bad.
I was talking to another guy you know very well, Todd Marston, and we were talking about, and Todd and I, he's a little older than me, but we're both older than you. When there were like 5 bowl games, you had the rose, the peach, the cotton, the sugar, and the orange, and that was about it. And now you have a Pop-Tart Bowl.
Yes, the Pop-Tart Bowl. It's so amazing. And just I think it's more amazing for the memes and not the actual football game.
Oh, look at that. And I tell you what I see right there? Chloe Dempsey's going to get called for the foul, and that's fine. But I see her right there kind of playing off her teammate a little bit. She sees Zoe Webster being aggressive, and that's what she's trying to do as she picks up her 4th foul. But kudos to her going in there and sticking your face in there and drawing that foul and being aggressive down. And that's an offensive foul.
And especially as a freshman, too, starting already, that could definitely play a big factor in some of these region games. Heck, even the district games could be close at some point. It might take somebody like Chloe or another younger player to really step up and score some points and be aggressive.
One more comment on the bowl games. My favorite tradition in the bowl games is the Duke Mayo Bowl, when the winning coach gets the mayonnaise dumped on him. That is disgusting.
It's funny you say that because I think Louisville's actually projected to be in it.
Well, there you go.
There's a chance for it. So I would love for Jeff Brom to be doused in mayo.
Duke's Mayo, too, which I always think it's funny if UK ever played in it and the UK coach got dumped with Duke Mayo.
UK doesn't have to worry about that this year, do they, though?
No, they are not going bowling. Unless it's to one of the local lanes there in Lexington. They are not going anywhere. 4:53 to go, 50-29. Back to the game. Nice drive. Scoop up. No. Rebound. Hannah Mason. Oh, nice catch by Keitlinger. And she got fouled. Yes, she did.
So you hear the smack with her headphones on.
I did.
I will say one thing, and this is not just because Louisville did whatever they felt like doing the other day. That was I've never been to like a true UK Louisville main sport game. I've been to baseball games.
Yeah.
But that was years ago when Louisville would win every time, and it was. I was younger. It was just a fun atmosphere to be at. But seeing Louisville beat them like that on their own field was even better, and actually being there. Because, I was in UK fans' season ticket spots. So, I was expecting just not to sound crazy, because most of them aren't like it, but the typical UK fan just being in my area. Those people around us, they were hilarious. I mean, we had such a good time with them. But then by the time the 4th quarter rolled around, me and Malachi were the only 2 left in the section. So,
Yeah, a lot of them were back at their cars on their way home. Here's a deep 3, no good. Of course, Malachi Mefford, off to a pretty good start in his senior year, but a big U of L fan as well. Addison Kincaid with the 3, no good. Rebound, up and in by Hannah Mason.
See, things like that is what we need to see more out of this team. I know St. Henry's kind of dialed it back a little bit, but like we were talking earlier, what you tell to your team that's down 24, don't give up.
Mm-hmm.
That was a play that they didn't give up on.
No.
They were very patient with it and attacked the offensive board and ended up getting 2 points out of it.
Owen County cheerleaders doing a little routine here, a little cheer. Work extremely hard, they do. Of course, now I read today on X, or as I call it, Twitter.
Yeah, it's still Twitter.
The Cincinnati Bengals had to sign a kicker because Evan McPherson has come down with a pulled groin, I believe. And so he is out. So the Bengals signed a kicker, who I don't remember his name off the top of my head.
When are the Ravens going to sign a kicker?
Well, I have Justin Tucker on my fantasy team, and I'm like, gosh, do you drop the guy? Because he's still capable.
Well, yeah, but they've lost, I saw something the other day. They've lost so many games by 24, and he's missed 24 points worth of kicks.
Yeah.
But even then, the receivers aren't that great either. I mean, I've seen Lamar throw great passes right at their chest. I mean, good passes that would have got first downs, even touchdowns, and they just drop them.
But the Bengals' new kicker, Monday night, will make his Bengals debut for the Bengals on Monday Night Football against the Dallas Cowboys. Now, why is that significant? That was nice. Got to finish. Gibson the hustle, though, and can't make it count. Why is that significant? The Bengals' new kicker's girlfriend is a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader.
Oh.
So he said she will be cheering for me, and I thought, no, she won't. Of course, the way the Cowboys are, maybe she'll switch mid-game. I don't know.
But even then, that seems to me like a game that the Bengals are going to go and get beat.
Absolutely. I mean, with the Bengals, you just expect the worst, and if the good thing happens, you're pleasantly surprised.
Joe Burrow needs help. Probably needs some better coaching staff.
Ooh.
Which I'm sure you can resonate with that a lot better than I can. You know, I watch NFL. It's not my favorite, but I watch it.
St. Henry just running some clock, and Zoe Webster has other ideas. Can't come up with the steal, and we're going to get a foul. Well, somebody made the comment the other day. I mean, the Bengals have two of the best offensive players in the league, Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow. And then on the other side of the ball, they have Trey Hendrickson, who's one of the best defensive players in the league. You could possibly, and they won't because they're not very good, have the offensive player of the year, the defensive rookie of the year, or the defensive player of the year, and not even make the playoffs. Playoffs? What's he saying? I mean, it's crazy. I hate to call for people to get fired. That's their livelihood. That's their job. And I'm always been hesitant to do that. But, you look at that team and you just look at how much talent they have. And you think, how could they not be better unless it is coaching?
Yeah, but then again, too, you look at their paycheck. I mean, look at Kenny Payne. He's making $3 million a year to sit on the bench at Arkansas and have a losing record again. While Louisville's head coach right now not even getting paid. Well, he's getting paid about a third of that.
Yeah.
And he's won more games already than he did in his first year.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just sports are stupid.
It is, and I totally understand. And one of the things that I heard the other day, as well as we're going to get a timeout, 51-34, 2:25 to go in the game. One of the things I heard was that NFL franchises don't like to fire head coaches. They'll fire the coordinators, but they pay the head coaches so much money these days, they don't want to pay them not to coach.
It's crazy.
And so you're so locked in on a contract with somebody.
What was it, Jimbo Fisher? His buyout was like $75 million.
Yeah.
I mean, Mark Stoops is $44 million right now.
Yeah.
UK can't fire him.
Well, and that was the part of the thing with John Calipari that people wanted to fire him last year, but I think his buyout was $33 million. And so, of course, he took the job at Arkansas.
But then I look at it from Louisville's point of view, like on the football side, Cincinnati hired Satterfield, who's not had a winning record, and paid the buyout for him to be there, and then we got Jeff Brom. So, it was an absolute win on Louisville's part. So, you see, you can be on the good end or the bad end of it. I'd like to know how they get these big contracts like that for being mediocre or even terrible.
I don't know.
But then again, you look at Mark Stoops, he's the most winningest football coach at UK's history, and it's still bad.
Yeah. 51-34, 2 1/4 left here in the fourth.
I'd like to pay that to get everything right half the time.
Here's Steffen for three, no good. Rebound, Gibson. Steffen thought about it again. Drives into the lane, drops it off to Mason. She's fouled. That was a good look from Kylie Steffen right there. And you've seen little glimpses of that tonight, things you like. Just need to see them click a little bit more. And we've said this already, and I think they will. Hannah Mason, another basket, another foul shot, I should say. She's had a pretty good game quietly tonight. I think it's been a little bit of a learning experience. Second one good. She now has 9, 51-36. How is that not a moving screen when Blackburn's coming down the floor right next to Zoe Gibson? You see a lot in the NBA, guys will do that. How is that not moving? I've never quite understood that. And there's a pass. She thought that there was going to be a cut, and there was no cut, and instead it's just a pass out of bounds. I don't blame Blackburn for doing it. I'm not saying, but she's going down the floor, and it's a moving screen, isn't it? Mason kick to Gibson. Bucket. Again, nice looking set.
Yeah, it's good basketball. You know, they're a very unselfish team.
Speaking of unselfish basketball team, is it's 51-38. That is one of the things, and we'll get to see the boys next Saturday night in here against Grant County. They so far have been very unselfish. That I don't have the scoring totals right in front of me, but it's been pretty balanced. When you look at that team, you have Camden Beckham, Malachi Mefford, obviously guys who have been around, but then Michael Smith is playing well right now for them. Harper Duvall's doing a good job at the point. Tell me who I'm missing here.
Britton Stafford.
Britton Stafford.
Our tech guy.
Yeah, our tech guy has played well. So it's a team, and they were fun to watch the other night against Western Hills.
And that's a team, too, that just about any of them can score.
Yes. He has a lot of shooters. The one thing Coach Duvall was stressing to me a little bit in the preseason was just getting him to buy in defensively. And so far, they've done a pretty good job of it as Steffen's going to get called for a reach. But I feel like the other night they played really good defense against Western Hills, and then I know they held Williamstown down the other night as well. So good start for them. They will be on the road a couple times next week. They'll be at the Blake Trailer Bowl over Tuesday at Shelby County. And then Friday night they'll be at Henry, Saturday night here at Grant. That is always a fun one. 53-38. We may not have point totals because we've been talking college football, and I may say I might have missed a couple. Zoe Webster, no good. Rebound St. Henry. I'm going to be curious, and I'm going to talk to Coach Wesselman a little bit about this next week at school. I wonder if she'd like to see Zoe be a little more aggressive on the offensive end as far as looking for her own shot.
Well, see, I was thinking that same thing, too, thinking about what we were going to talk about in the postgame. She's really not shot that much this game. Now, again, defense probably playing a big factor in that. But she can shoot from anywhere on the court. I mean, you've seen her make threes from the logo before, but then she's also quick enough to get around defenders and have a wide-open layup, too. Again, it was harder to do tonight with St. Henry playing the zone. But
you talk about her offensive game, and there she goes offensively.
Yeah, she just went into a wall of three players.
She came into this season, as I said, with 636 points. She only played 4 games last year. There's a basket by Hannah Mason. She only played 4 games. I mean, you add a couple hundred more points onto that from last year that she had to sit. She'd be 850 right now, maybe 900 right now. So, yes, and I don't know, and again, this is something you'd have to ask Zoe and Coach about. Is that her lack of offense shooting right now, is that just trying to get other people involved, or is that a little bit of being tentative, maybe not wanting to be as aggressive as maybe she might be? I don't know. We're going to do a broad link player of the game tonight. And I don't know if TJ is going to come over and ask us here for it. I'm going to say Hannah Mason. She has 2, 4, 6, 8, 11 points. Played really well. I know we've talked a lot about Zoe Webster, and Zoe Webster is going to be player of the game a lot this year. I mean, and I like Hannah's game, and you can say you think it's Zoe, that's fine, and then we can flip a coin. But I've been impressed with Hannah Mason, what she's able to do, and playing against, and really.
Well, you can definitely see how she's grown as a player too from last year.
Yeah.
So, like, she was an 8th grader last year, still very timid. I mean, she's still timid.
Yeah.
But she's still just a freshman, too.
It is.
Being able to see her kind of come out of her comfort zone and make some of these plays that she wasn't making last year already is a good sign.
It is a big step from middle school to high school. And I don't know that people fully appreciate, what that you talk about going from high school to college to the pros, but that middle school, there's a foul.
Especially from middle school to varsity.
Yes. Yeah, you're not going from middle school to freshman ball. You're going middle school, and she got some varsity minutes last year. You look up, and Owen County has cut this down to 15. Now, I'm not suggesting they're going to come back in the next 46 seconds, but it's what you and I said. It's that keep playing attitude. And it's that ability to, it was 26-28. Now it's 16. You played better here in the fourth quarter. Just got to get off to a better start. They dug themselves a hole there in the first quarter that they couldn't get out of. Nice move. Mason, a little long. Nice rebound. One-hand rebound by Stefan. Gibson for 3. No good. She's had a tough night shooting the ball. And a ball taken away and then kicked out of bounds. So 18.6.
Very interesting to see that pretty much both of the starters for both teams are in.
Yeah.
And I was kind of expecting to.
That's why I said she should shoot more. I mean, she has the ability to score. 5 seconds left. And that's going to do it. 57-43. St. Henry wins it over Owen County tonight. The Lady Rebels dropped to 0-2. St. Henry improves to 1-2. And congratulations to Dan Trame, his first victory as the head coach of St. Henry. His first, I think I'm correct in this, his first win as a high school varsity girls coach. So congrats to him on the W tonight. Taking a look at this game, and we'll wrap it up here quickly for everybody. Really big story in this game in the first half was Owen County's inability to get things going offensively. A lot of that due to St. Henry's defense. We talked about that. St. Henry just shot the ball incredibly all night, but very well in the first quarter. And as I said a moment ago, Owen County just dug a hole that they couldn't get out of.
And looks like TJ's picked our player of the game.
He has, and that's perfectly fine. And that's going to be Gia Jones from St. Henry. She had a good night. At one point, I had her with 16 points. I think she had a couple more than that. So, yeah.
We got a little sidetracked.
Good night. Yeah, we talking about the playoff and – but, yeah, I think, for Owen County, like I said, they got off to a tough start, which they did the other night as well against Anderson County. That's one thing that you can build on if you're Owen County. But we said it. There were some positive things as well. We already talked about Hannah Mason. It's good to see Zoe Webster out there moving well and playing hard after the injury. But you know what? It's 0-2. No reason to panic. You played a couple of pretty good opponents. I think St. Henry, I'll be honest, a little better than I thought they were going to be. I thought this game would be, like you said in the open, I thought this game would be a little closer than what it was. But the Lady Rebels, they're gonna get better, and I think that's the one thing. You go back to practice tomorrow, Monday, whenever she has them back, and you have lots of things to work on at this point in the season.
Yeah, and like we've talked about the entire night, these early season games are there to make you better. Because we won't see St. Henry again.
No.
But it's good to see different opponents, especially teams that are outside of the region, just to see, how we stack up.
Yeah.
Because there are some, the Christmas tournaments coming up. They'll play a few games over the break. Some more out-of-region games coming up. But even playing these games outside of the region just make us better, especially when it comes to the games that matter and the district tournament and district play. Playing against stronger competition always makes you better. You're not going to get worse by doing it.
Absolutely.
It might be a little demoralizing at some point, getting your brains beat in. But there's some things that you can work on these really good teams that you can't work on these other teams that aren't near as good.
You're not, and I think Denny Crum used to talk about this. It's not necessarily what you do in December that matters. It's what you do in February and March.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, this team has a track record of doing very well in February and March. So you take it, you learn from it. As you said, you're not going to play St. Henry again. You got a tough North Oldham team coming in here. And a game I think that some of these girls would like to get a little get back on, because North Oldham beat them last year in the 8th region tournament in a little bit of a surprise.
Yeah,
I think Owen County thought they were going to win that game and did not. So that'll be a fun. I don't think they'll need any motivation for that come Monday night.
And especially, I think they played each other twice last year, if I'm not mistaken.
They did.
Owen County went there and beat them.
Pretty good, I think.
I think Kaylee Gibson had a big game, 17 points. So, yeah, it did come as a shock to them in the regional tournament. But, teams are different.
That's why you play the games.
Teams are different.
And you know what? Two losses will not keep them out of the district tournament.
Nope. Luckily, there is not a selection committee. So we are all good. We will get in the district tournament.
So that's going to do it for us tonight. We'll be back with you Monday night. Like I said, the girls will be in action here against North Oldham next Wednesday as well, with the girls taking on Walton Verona. And then next Saturday night, a busy week, as the boys will be home against Grant County. That's going to do it, like I said, for us. 57-43. St. Henry wins it. Thanks to all of the folks who helped get this on the air tonight. We are so happy to be back, being able to broadcast these games. Thanks for welcoming us into, I would say, your living room, but actually with YouTube, you could be anywhere. You could be at Walmart watching the game. So thanks for tuning us in tonight and watching a little Owen County basketball, as we're going to be bringing it to you all year right here on Broadlink. For Braden Howard, I'm Brian Blair saying good night from Owenton.